best while I'm still drinking with you. And there's no good reason why. Alcohol judgment just don't mix. Alcohol judgment just don't mix. Alcohol judgment just don't mix. Alcohol judgment just don't mix.
Okay, there we go. I don't remember if I had to use this or if my lap. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let me get this situated.
Nice, dude. You look cozy.
Yes. It is robe season.
It's robe season. That's nice. I don't even own a robe. I've never owned a robe.
Oh, I love my robe. It's like probably 10 years old, but it's nice.
It looks nice. That's really nice. What's that behind you? Is that like an Apple thing?
This thing here?
Yeah.
It is my AT&T internet. So it is like it uses your cell phone service. So I could actually like play games online pretty decently now. So it's pretty nice.
Oh, you canceled the Elon Musk one?
No, that's my brother. So he still has it.
Oh, okay.
Because our space is so spaced out that pretty much they're going to do their own thing. I'm going to have my own thing. Yeah, so it's going to be kind of a mess, but it works for now.
What's the Elon Musk one called? Starlink?
Yeah.
Starfield?
It's a little better than Starfield.
It's better than Starfield. That's hilarious.
A little newer and better advanced. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Starfield, that's the way you talk about. You played that game like hours, right? How many hours you put in?
Probably like 3.
Oh,
I did
really?
not play it for real.
Oh, I thought you played it for a while.
It was not. I did not think it was fun.
Oh, okay. I thought you did like way more than that. I didn't know you just did 3 hours.
No, I did not do a lot. I got to it just was like, how do you have a game with not having a map button? There's no map. How do you? It's just it's those things. I'm like, I'm so glad I did Game Pass. So I just was like, nope. I'm sorry. There's just some things that were just like unforgivable. And when it's like, dude, this game was so long coming, and it's just a rehash of Skyrim. And it's like, I'm not saying it's a bad game, but I'm like, even if you like the game, you have to admit that's a little underwhelming.
Yeah. Let me just say this real quick. I appreciate you for doing this. I really do.
Oh, no problem.
I really appreciate you for being here, doing this podcast with me. We're supposed to have other guests that we're very, very excited to get on with us, but last minute it all fell apart. But I figure we just keep going and just do it. This is the end of the year recap. I got my Christmas tree set up behind me. We're done with Christmas. I'm going to tear it down, and we're going to go into the new year.
Okay, sure. Sorry, I have to take off my robe. But as I say this, it's getting too hot.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Okay,
taking off the robe.
No, I need. Anyway, I had it on for a few hours, so I'm getting a little heated. Okay. Now let me make sure everything's good real quick. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, to get 4 people on it, and everyone's doing their own thing, especially this week. Everyone's probably busy.
Yeah, what a weird day to do it. I was like, dude, the main reason was because we're all off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, that's why I was like, it could work, but yeah, it didn't work. Too much going on.
Yeah. Except for me.
And for me, apparently. My wife's giving the kids haircuts in the kitchen.
Oh, really?
So I'm good.
Yeah. Okay. Before we do anything else, I have to bring up today is the day that they release Squid Games on Netflix, like for like real people, and I'm super excited about it.
Whoa, today's the day?
Yeah, so as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna start binging that. I'm gonna wait until we're like, yeah. I'm excited about it.
That's crazy. I heard there was some hiccups. You heard about that?
No.
It was supposed to come out like a while back, but I guess something bad happened on set. But dangerous, I believe. I don't know what specifically happened. I'm sure they'll talk about it. I mean, I'm hoping they talk about it, but that's why it's been so delayed. It was supposed to come out like right after the show because it was such a hit. That was like a year ago, right? 2 years ago now, maybe. When the show like was huge. You watched the show?
Oh yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. I
Right.
think
It's
it
been a
was two
while.
years ago.
So that's
Yeah.
why it took so long. But supposedly, like, my wife watches the Mexican one. Like, there's been the
Oh yeah.
Mexican one for already a year already. It's been out for a while now. But yeah, I don't understand it, but she watches it. She like laughs at some of the stuff they do. Like, it's ridiculous.
It was very interesting because I watched it English dubbed. Yeah, English dubbed. That's when like so English dubbed, but you could tell how because it's South Korean, I believe, right? And
Right.
their like emotions are very expressive. So like they'll like it just looks kind of I don't know if corny is the right word, but like when they laugh really like oh wow, like they're really into it. Like so like their emotion, it's just how they displayed emotions was completely different than what I'm used to. And I guess that anyway, it was interesting. I was like, oh, okay. I see what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Right.
no, I liked it. I like shows like that. I don't know what you'd consider it, but
Reality, like, I don't know, like Survivor, like shit like that.
I guess so. I'm trying to think of shows that are like it, but like when it's coming out with the real people, I was really excited because I love the drama aspect, and you also one person's going to win, so you're seeing all these teams get built, and you're like, okay, eventually this is going to be an issue. So it's just those kind of things. Like eventually, the Squid Game show, you're like, all right, you kind of know who the main character is, and you're like, all right, you pretty much know you're gonna see how he wins as opposed to who's gonna win. So it kind of takes away that aspect. But with this kind of show, you're like, oh, I don't even know who's gonna win. So this is kind of cool. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
That's cool. You know what's kind of what you're just talking about? How you kind of know who's gonna win because they're focusing on one person.
Yeah.
Um, I feel the same way about like, have you seen that show called Only Murderers in the Building?
Yes.
So that to me was like, when I saw that show, like, who's the killer? The first season, I knew who it was because they wouldn't bring in certain people. And the second season got me, but the first season they brought in, I don't know her name, which is horrible. I don't know her name, but it's the actress. Have you ever seen The Office?
Yes.
You know, she
I'm
plays
trying to
Holly.
remember.
She plays Holly. Um, uh, Steve, what's his name? Steve Carell. His character's name is Michael Scott. She plays like his girlfriend in the show, in The Office.
Oh right. I don't remember the first. I think I remember the killer, and then like it was the son, it was like the son and the father kind of thing, right? I can't
Oh
really
yeah, no,
remember.
no. It made you think that it was them for a part of the
Okay.
season, but it turned out to
Okay.
be a lady. Her name is Jan Amy Ryan, and
Okay.
she's she plays Jan Bellows. I'm glad I have it.
Oh yeah, her. Okay, yeah.
So she was. I mean, I saw her in The Office, and she's the only one in that show that was like, it could be. It's probably her because like, why would they bring in a big name? Not a big name, but like someone
Oh,
a recognizable face. If we weren't gonna, so I kind of felt like they ruined it on that one. The
she
second
was
season, though,
she started dating the main or one of the
right,
main guys, right?
right,
That's okay.
right,
Okay, now it's coming back. Okay.
right, and she played
Second,
a instrumental, an instrument. I forget what
that's
instrument. It was
right.
like a pipe, like a flute or something. But yeah. So spoiler. Uh, that to me, I felt ruined it. But the second season, though, I haven't finished the third season, but the second season, it was a nobody who was the murderer, which I thought was cool. I like when they do stuff like that when you really don't expect it. I like watching those shows because I feel like, dude, they have to show hints on who it is, and it's gonna be cool at the end when you find out that it was this person, and like, oh man, all the clues. Like, I love that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, I feel the same way when you're talking about Squid Games, when like it's like they focus on one person and you kind of already know who's going to win, and you know that guy's going to be the hero. They're only focusing on the hero. You know, they wouldn't focus on anyone
Yeah.
else. One movie that was not like that was No Country for Old Men.
Ooh, that was good.
They follow what's his face, the main character, who I thought was the main character, Josh Brolin, and then it turns out he was not the main character because they killed him off in the middle. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. The what's his what's the guy's name, the villain, but his what's his what's it who's the guy who
Um,
plays
um,
him?
um.
He's so good. Del
Oh
Toro?
yeah,
No.
oh yeah,
Is
and
it is
then
it Del Toro?
no, I tell you right now, Javier something.
Oh, you're Javier. It's gonna bug me. He did.
Javier
He did.
Bardem.
He did that. That's like one of the top characters. I think he did such a good job.
And it was lots to unpack with that character because the bowl cut was like threw you off. Like his whole style threw you. It's like it wasn't the typical like he had something going on. And then the weapon he used, it was like very specific. He was a very specific person, you know?
I love the thing with he's flipping the coin, and
Yes.
the guy was like didn't want to flip it, but he was like almost like you could see his emotions like almost like crying when he's telling him like call it, like call it, because he like needs him to call it. If he doesn't, then he won't know what to do. So it was a scene like that was really good. And even then, you don't know what happened. It doesn't show you what it is. So
Right.
I get to live all happy seeing, oh, he won. So and that's fine. And no one can tell me different. So, but those guys that to you give the character unique qualities where you're kind of like, it's not like it's not that you like him, but you're like, oh, I'm kind of getting more of it. I think that's why, well, that's a jump, but that's why I liked Avengers so much, because Thanos was like, he already had a proven system where he's like, no, this actually worked on my home planet. You're like, oh, so you're kind of like, oh, it kind of makes sense that he's like super. And the fact that when he snaps his fingers, there's like I remember seeing on TikTok or something where it's like there's a split second where he's trying to see if he's going to get snapped, because it's like he didn't save himself. Heck, he had just as much chance as anyone else to get snapped. So
Right.
when you see that kind of stuff, you're like, oh, he really believes in this. And
Mm-hmm.
you're almost like I respect what he's trying to do, because he really believes in trying to save the world his way. And I think that's why he was such a good character.
Right. He was very intelligent, you could tell. Like it's like
Yeah.
he would do things that was like he had to sacrifice his daughter. He had to for the greater cause. And it was he didn't like it. You could tell he wasn't happy to do it, but he had to do it. Really
It
good
was
character.
the one thing that you love, and it's like, yeah. So it made it such a weird moment of you felt extra sad, because he's also showing his vulnerability for the first time, saying no, like I really did love you as like a daughter, and then he just and his throws. I was like, oh, that's like extra hard, because you know that it wasn't just whatever. It's like, no, I really hurt him to do that.
Right. Right.
But there's something with Marvel movies. I feel like they lost. I don't know what it is, but they lost their way a little bit, because I even think the Avengers, when you have the Scarlet Witch fighting Thanos and she's like almost killing him, and you're seeing how strong she is, and that's like a prelude to Doctor Strange, where she just goes berserk and just starts killing everyone in different universes. You're like, oh, she really is that strong. Like she could have killed Thanos in that moment if he didn't bombard him with like the airships. You're like, oh, this is like it all ties together.
Right. And
But
then I just read something today that since you because I followed it the first three phases, I stopped after that. I see most of it, but I haven't seen a lot of things. A lot of the shows, like the Disney shows, are like supposed to be like a whole long length movie. I haven't seen the second season of Loki. I haven't seen. I didn't really like She-Hulk. But supposedly I like the Captain America and Falcon. Is it the Winter Soldier? Captain America and the Winter Soldier. But it's
yeah,
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But it becomes Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
yeah.
Um, because but they revealed when the last show ended. So this is what I read on the last episode day of the Falcon and Captain America, or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, when they reveal that Falcon is now the new Captain America. Am I saying, is it Falcon? I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
No, he's Falcon.
It's
Something
Falcon.
Falcon. I think it's just Falcon.
Okay, yeah,
I
because
think
I'm confused.
I think it's just Falcon, but I could be
Right.
wrong.
Okay, let's just go with that then. Falcon,
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Yeah, yeah.
when they reveal that Falcon is the new Captain America, at the end, they announced Captain America 4, and he was going to be the running. He was going to be the main. He is Captain America now. So it's supposed to come out this next summer coming up, 2024, but it got delayed because they did a test screening of it and people walked out.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it finished it before all this the union strike. They finished it before. And supposedly the bad guy in that is Harrison Ford, and he plays another villain, Marvel villain. What was it? Anyways, it's crazy. So basically they postponed it to 2025 and they're going to do major reshoots of this movie.
Well, did you hear of, I think it was last year, could have even been 2 years ago. We're not, oh, at least I'm not doing very good at sticking to this year, but they were gonna do, was it Batwoman or something? And it was just so bad, and then they couldn't get anything right that they just scrapped the whole thing. And like, dude, for how bad these movies have been being released, if you're not even releasing, it had to have been horrible. I want to see it just to see how bad it really was.
You know what I think it is? I'm just thinking now. I think it's oversaturated now. But back then, when like the first Avengers came out, and like it was that was all there was. So you're absorbing it like, oh man, I need it. Like it was crack. Like, when's my next fix? Oh, next summer. You know what I mean? Like, but now it's so saturated. Like DC's doing it, Marvel's doing it, and then Marvel's has like a whole. They show you the game plan. It'd be better, maybe I don't know, if they just didn't show you the game plan and they just surprised you with, hey, guess what? We got the new Thor coming out next year. You know what I mean? And like, oh fuck, we're gonna see Thor again, instead of like, oh man, 3 years out, like this whole Deadpool 3 thing. They're pushing it and pushing it. Like, I'm starting to not even care anymore. And when it gets here and it's not as hyped as it's supposed to be, that's what happens.
Yeah,
don't tell us that Hugh Jackman's gonna be in it. Just show us, like, when we get there. That'd be crazy,
I wish that I love that the way they announced it, but I wish it was like way closer to when the movie came out. Give it to me like a month or even like a couple weeks before it comes out. So I'm like, oh my god, are you serious? Because we already saw, I think we already saw him in the X-Men costume and the Wolverine. So we're like, oh, that's really cool. But it's like, when is it next year comes out? Like, don't tease me with it and be like, oh hey, this is what's coming up in next year, and you're like, don't show me it then. No, I agree. I miss the old way of doing it, where you had something like the Avengers, and I think like you get maybe 2 movies a year, but it was like different, characters and stuff. But you knew like Avengers was like, okay, next one's gonna come out in like 2 years. So like, all right, I'm just gonna wait. But now it's like you mentioned the shows. I don't doubt. I really think I'll like Loki, but I just have no desire to watch it. I don't know why. Everyone says it's great. I'm sure I'm gonna like it, but I just don't want to watch it. I'm kind of just over it. I'm like, I don't really care. I totally skipped She-Hulk. I totally skipped. I don't know. There's probably 3 or 4 shows. I just were like, I'm kind of burnt out.
Right.
So
burnt out. Mm-hmm.
So that's even though I think I'd like it, I'm still like, I think of other things I'd rather watch or do, and I'm just like, I'm good. I'll just wait until I actually want to watch it again.
You know what I gotta say is that I've seen She-Hulk, I've seen Captain America. I really like Captain America or the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I gotta say,
I watched that one.
I gotta say Loki's probably the best one. Like out of all of them, Loki's the best because it kind of without spoiling anything, it deconstructs everything about anything. Like the whole Infinity Stones, it just deconstructs everything to where it's just like plain bones, like on a new playing level, where Loki's on his own journey, but he is actually like, I feel like he's on his own journey. It's really good. And then like Owen Wilson is in it, and he plays like a serious character that's like crazy. I love seeing Owen Wilson as a serious character. Like any movie, any show he's in where he does that, I love it. Like I'm kind of over him. Kind of what we're talking about. Like I'm over him being the funny guy, like the goofball. I'm over that with him. I love seeing him as like a serious movie. In serious movies, there's another one he did called Steve Zissou, Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Have you seen that movie with Bill Murray? Really fucking good movie. It's Bill Murray and it's him. And Bill Murray is like, Bill Murray, right?
Yeah.
He like is playing a serious character, but because he's Bill Murray, it's funny. Like it's goof. Like it's just funny seeing him do dumb shit. Like there's a scene with him and Owen Wilson where he meets him and Owen Wilson is being serious with them. They're talking, and then Bill Murray pulls out, like a cigarette, and he's smoking, and he goes, you want some? And then Owen Wilson's like, yeah, sure, and like he's smoking it too, and they're smoking back and forth, talking serious, and then he smoked it. They passed it once, and then Bill Murray passes it back to him, and he goes, you want another one? And he goes, you want another hit? And Owen Wilson's like, no, thank you. I've never tried marijuana before. Like he thought it was a cigarette, and Bill Murray was smoking weed, and he's like being nice about it. So he's like, no, thank you, sir. Like, no, thank you, sir. I don't practice smoking marijuana, something like that, where it's like, oh, okay. Like he didn't know. Just so funny. Like shit like that.
Well, you said you said you haven't seen the second season, right?
No, but the first season is really good.
I saw it's really good. I saw the first season, so you could spoil that. We could talk about that.
Oh, the first Loki?
Yeah, I've watched the first season.
Oh, okay. So basically how he deconstructs basically all the Infinity Stones are just like used as like paperweights. Like that's hilarious. so like the fact that the whole time his whole character, the whole time we've seen him on screen, is trying to get these Infinity Stones. Like he's trying to hide it. Like he like steals it. He's like always, and just for him to be on just survival mode. Like there is no, you don't need to be the great with the Infinity Stones. Like that, it's just him trying to figure out, like how to get out of this like prison. It's like a prison basically. Like I like that. And then he feels like it's a prison, that time jump thing, whatever you call it. Where basically, and he finds out that they're all prisoners, even the people that think they worked there. It's just a big prison. So he's like, fuck, dude. Like, and he wants to know like who is the one pulling the strings, because he's got to get out. And then when he finds the whole Kang thing, and gets into the whole Kang, I really like that concept, because they're building this character up, even though Ant-Man kind of like fucked it up. Like if you saw Ant-Man, the Quantinanium or whatever, like it wasn't that great. It was more slapsticky than anything. But it became like I thought it became like it's cool how they're hyping up this Kane guy, because I really hope they don't get rid of him. But that's another thing they're talking about, is depending on, I think he goes to, or I don't even know if it happened already. This month he's supposed to go to trial, and depending on the trial is where Disney's going to decide if they're going to keep him or not.
Oh, I think you mentioned that to me already. I didn't see what happened, so that's going to be interesting.
Happened to what?
To the guy, but you said I can't remember. I think it was you telling me about it, but he's going to trial. Like something happened to him outside of Marvel and all that.
Yeah, but it's a really, that's a whole other thing we can go into. It's he got into an argument with his girlfriend, and she claimed that he hit her. But during that altercation that happened, it was in New York City. Maybe like it was this year. So it was this year, early this year sometime. I guess he went to they locked him up. They put him in jail because they had been drinking, and they're trying to go home. They both lived together. They got into an argument in the back of an Uber or a taxi or something, and then they ended up arresting him because she claims he hit her in the car. And there's video footage. So basically they arrested him, and then there's video footage from pedestrians or like fans, people just like with their camera phones watching the altercation as they get out of the car. And this is all reported. I haven't seen the footage myself, but basically it looks like she's the aggressor and he's the one defending himself. Like she's like trying to hit him or whatever. So it's this whole like who he said, she said. I don't know if there's any real evidence, but basically he's still on trial for that. He is pending that situation of assault. And once it was announced, once that first happened, Disney said we can't work with them anymore. But then I feel like maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like then once they found out she could possibly be the aggressor, they're like, oh, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. So he's on a string with Disney now, like depending on, and it's probably just best in their favor in general, because it's not. Ant-Man didn't do well. The Quantum, the one that he was first introduced in, the Kang guy. I believe he was first introduced in that, or it was Loki first, or I don't know. But anyways, like he's supposed to be in many other installments of this Avengers thing, and supposedly he's supposed to be the main bad guy in one of the next Avengers coming up. Like there's 2 Avengers movies coming out, and that's all this. I've been reading a bunch of shit, dude. I don't know if it's rumors or fake. You hear about the one about the Secret Wars, Avengers Secret Wars? It's gonna start.
I never watched it, but
no, it's coming out in 2026. It's called Avengers Secret Wars. And they just announced what it's going to be about. It's supposed to be about. It's probably going to change because it's so far out. but it's supposed to be about Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine are the leads. So it's like a whole other universe. I don't know if it's their universe or it's another universe that is supposed to be like an Avengers in another universe. Not the Avengers we know, but it's a new group of Avengers, which is crazy because they could literally. I mean, I'm assuming because they're bringing back those old early 2000. Those are the two leads. What if they bring back the early Fantastic Four? Then you would have Chris Evans again in as a new character in basically the Avengers. Like Chris Evans was the Flame Boy.
Yeah, he was Flame. Yeah, what was it? Was it
Flamer?
Yeah,
I don't remember his name, but I don't know. But that'd be crazy because that would all roll into the same package if you really wanted to bring back these old characters and put them together again. Like you could bring back the old Punisher, you can bring back a bunch of shit.
It would be really cool. I just don't know because I thought Hugh Jackman was done with Wolverine aside from this Deadpool.
Right.
And then Chris Evans, I thought he was kind of like over being Captain America or being a superhero, but maybe not. I mean, if you throw enough money, I'm sure. So it would be kind of their way of going like, you know what, we went too far going one way. Let's just kind of revert back and do something again that already worked. Yeah. I mean, I would like it. I would love to see Tobey Maguire and Hugh Jackman.
Right. And so my thing is you're kind of like whoever's creating that storyline, you're basically like, okay, look, you write from a point where like these people already watched all these movies about these superheroes getting together. Let's just create a storyline where they've already been together, they met certain ways, and they're all the Avengers now. All these old people we are already used to. Like, I mean, they announced the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. They announced Hugh Jackman. I'm speculating Fantastic Four. I'm speculating Punisher. You can bring back that old Hulk. Like literally, like you make a new Avengers, and it would be like, dude, like in their world, they've all been messing with each other for years. They've all been like dealing, like they're friends. They're some of them don't like each other. Some of them do. You know what I mean? Like make it like boom. It's like an Avengers, but you already know them, but now you're seeing them all interact together. All these old superheroes that you grew up with. You could bring back the old Blade. I mean, I'm just speculating.
You know what makes me think of? It makes me think of back when I would play with my toys and I would just get a collection and just start making my own story. It's just an adult version of let's just get all these action figures and just have them. And I'm cool with that. Like, let's just do that. Like, and that
would work. That would work.
It makes me think of I really liked Tom Holland's Spider-Man. A big reason was because it was like the fourth Spider-Man in a row, and they kept doing Uncle Ben, and like we don't need to see it a fourth time. So they kind of, I say skipped it, but he didn't have an Uncle Ben. Now he eventually had the whole Uncle Ben scenario with No Way Home.
Yeah.
No Way. So he eventually had that experience, but it didn't feel like a rehash of, okay, I got a guy steals money, goes to a car, shoots up. Like we had three of those. So it was nice for them to be like, they already seen that. Let's just give him something that's just different. Like he's already Spider-Man. He was already Spider-Man when we saw him. He already had the suit. We were like, oh, okay, Spider-Man. I didn't need to see the whole. I mean, eventually he had a movie where you saw the origin of it, but it wasn't just another rehash of the Spider-Man story.
Right. I just got done playing Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation. And dude, that was a good game because they threw stuff like that at you. They changed the story a little bit, or I don't know. I never got deep into the comics, but in this video game version, because you've seen all the Spider-Man movies, right? Venom. It's about Venom.
Oh, okay.
The Spider-Man 2 is about Venom. It's about Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and the original Spider-Man have to take down Venom. But in this storyline, Venom, instead of taking over Eddie Brock, Venom takes over Harry Osborn.
Ooh.
So it's like your friend from high school who is taking Venom. He feel like he needs Venom, and then there's a part where Venom wants to be with Spider-Man, and then Venom is with Spider-Man, and like Harry's kind of jealous, like, dude, can you give my thing back? Like, give my my alien back to me. And he's like, it consumes them to a point where they're evil to each other, and it brings back that like if they're both angry at each other, like the friendship thing. It's really cool. It's really, really good. And then the ending, of course, the ending. They get the symbiote out of them. But Yeah, give me back my symbiote, please. That's what I was trying to think of the word. Like, hey, Spider-Man, can you please give back my symbiote?
Well, how did Harry died in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, the
Yeah.
third one, right? Because it was also with Venom, right? Am I
Yeah,
wrong?
you're
How
right.
he died?
You're right.
I don't think he had. I don't think he was taken by Venom. I don't think, but I'm trying to remember how he died. I think he died in the fight scene though,
He
with
died
him and
saving.
Venom and.
He died trying to save Peter Parker from Venom.
Okay. Um.
Yeah. So, anyways, to bring back your point of playing with your action figures, I think that would work for nostalgia reasons, and also as just like a trope to like this is what I heard too. I read because I read stuff, and I don't know if it's like they're thinking of it or it's the rumor or what, but I also read like, have you seen the end of Morpheus? Have you seen Morpheus?
I
No?
had no desire to watch Morpheus
Okay.
though.
But that's a Marvel movie, right?
Right.
And at the very end, what happens is, I don't know if you know this or saw it on YouTube or something. At the very end, what happens is you just see like the sky at the end of No Way Home. You know how like the sky was breaking, and then
Yes.
and then they bring it back together. Like it comes back. You know, Doctor Strange brings it back together, and everything's okay. Well, you see that happen, and you see Michael Keaton plays the Vulture. He's in prison, and he's in a room, and he's just chilling. And it turns out, like on the news, you see like, we just found this guy in a prison cell by himself. Like we don't know who he is or who locked him up, so we're just gonna let him go. And basically, they just let him go because he ended up the Vulture. Remember at the end of the first Spider-Man, Homecoming, they lock him up because he's the Vulture. Well, it turns out he got switched over into a new universe where no one knows who he is. He's just some guy in a prison cell, so they let him go. But he's the Vulture, right? And he goes out and he's like, I'm gonna get Spider-Man. Like he's like ready to go. And then what happens is he ends up meeting with Morpheus, and he wants to take down Spider-Man. He goes, are you ready to take down Spider-Man? So he wants to kill Spider-Man, but he's in another universe. So it's like, what Spider-Man's universe is he in? Are they gonna make a new Spider-Man, or is he in Tobey Maguire's universe, or is he in Andrew Garfield's universe? Because he's not in Tom Holland's. That's how it ended. And Morpheus is like, yes, I'm down. Like he's willing to help him.
Wasn't that the end of Venom also? Was that you had the end of No Way Home, but some reason there's certain characters that stayed in the universe, and and they're like, oh, let's go.
So that's another thing. Venom is now in Tom Holland's universe. So it's like they're hinting that of like, you're gonna see these guys together, which is pretty cool. But that's the same thing they hinted with the Vulture at the end of Morpheus, was like, he's still out to get Spider-Man, but I don't think he knows that he's not in the right universe. Or maybe he does know, he doesn't care. I don't
know. Well, since we're on the topic of, I think Morbius did that flop? I think that was a flop, right?
Yeah, it was really dark. Yeah, I can see why it did. It was really dark.
Well, from what I watched, like reviews on YouTube and stuff, and it seemed like it was pretty bad writing and act. It just seemed like I was like, I don't even think I want to see this thing.
Right.
What was I getting at? I can't remember what I was getting at. Because I think we're talking about how Marvel was like, they're kind of on a downward trend where like most of their movies are, because now you have Miss Marvel. I think it was the biggest money loss in Marvel history.
Right.
So I don't know how they're gonna turn around. I don't know how. There's certain things in the Marvel universe that I will never forget, and one of them was Avengers, when you first like saw Thanos. With the end of the first Avengers, when half of them get snapped, and you're like, oh my god. So like all of these certain aspects, and I'm trying to think of this, because we were talking about Spider-Man. Like when they had all three Spider-Man in the same, that was like, you just never thought that would happen. But now that it's happened, what's the next thing? And what you're talking about could be the next thing. Like I would be really excited about Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire, and just bring back just like old characters. And there's I don't know if it's a spoiler, but there's kind of a spoiler at the end of at the Marvels, but I won't say it.
I X-Men, right?
Oh, you already saw it.
We talked. I've heard it. I haven't seen it though, but I've heard about that. Yeah.
Dude, I was really excited because you have Kelsey Grammer
Yes.
as when
Yes.
he had the voice. I was like, this is perfect.
Yes.
If it was any other voice, I'd say nah. But Kelsey Grammer, he is beast. But that's
Dude.
for my,
Yes.
I don't care. I don't care if he doesn't. Some people were saying, "Oh, they want him to have the suit." I don't need him to have the suit. He could be
No.
CGI or what. I don't mind. I really don't. But I want the voice, and they got the voice. I'm like, this is what I'm looking for.
Even
Like,
Logan, even Logan, they don't even have to have him have the suit. That's not. I mean, that's like, I get it. They put him in it for the new movie for the Deadpool 3, but like he was just so iconic as that character. I can't see anyone else playing him. I'm so glad that they've kept him all these years to play Wolverine because it's perfect.
Logan is still one of my top movies like ever. I loved Logan. It was such a good. You have this character who he's at that point he's been through like what 3 or 4 different timelines, and all of his friends have been killed in pretty much every timeline, and he's immortal, and he's just like, dude, this sucks. Like I am so he's like slowly kind of trying to kill himself with the pills to stop his regeneration, and you have Xavier where like he's just it's just more realistic where it's like you have Xavier and you're like, I guess it would make sense that he would just start having muscle like or not brain like spasms or something. I don't know what it is, but just he's so powerful that once his mind starts to go, he could just kind of wipe out everyone. And you're kind of like you kind of have a nuke in this old guy that he's just getting more and more senile. So what do you do? But it was such a good like movie that like after you watch it, you're like, dude, I gotta get a drink or something. This was rough because it's giving you the reality that you didn't really want to have. You're like, damn, but it was so good.
Right.
But as far as the suit goes, for all we know, it could literally be like a 10-second throwaway of like, dude, why are you in that? Get out of there. And that's enough fan service for me to like it. Be like, oh, just throw them in just for a joke. That's fine. That's fine for me. But I don't know.
They did that with Mario, the Mario movie. Did you watch that?
Yeah.
They did that with the voice because like the whole time
voice.
you're like, is he gonna do the voice? And they did in the beginning, but they're doing it for a commercial. I thought that was so funny, dude. How they just did that.
I gotta say, and to be fair, this did come out this year, so this actually is on topic. I loved the Mario movie. It didn't take itself too seriously. You didn't get involved in some kind of story. It's just give us Mario, give us Donkey Kong, have them fight each other. You had Diddy, Dixie, Cranky. That's all you need to do. You had a little bit of racing with Mario Kart. Like it's just a fun movie. You don't have to overthink it. It's just fun. And they did. I hope Nintendo keeps it up because they did such a good job.
They did. They really did. They really did. There was a lot of Easter eggs too that like normal people who just don't play Mario or don't even know who Mario is, and just they can enjoy it too. But there's a lot of like hidden stuff that was like you know, like the his enemy was what's his name? I forget, from Wrecking Crew. Like that's another video game. the plumber, like his you know the guy that's talking shit to him and the pizza place.
Yes. I don't know his name either, but
but he's Wrecking Crew. He's a part, you know, and like just everything, dude. Everything was a throwback. Like it was so cool. It was really cool to see that. When he tried to find the princess and they're like, oh, she's in another castle. Maybe she's in another castle or whatever, you know. They're laughing about it. Like, yeah, dude. Like that's what they would tell you every time you try to meet the princess. But yeah, dude, that movie was really cool. It's cool because my son loves to watch it, so it's fun. Every time I watch it, I see something new. I always see something new. I'm like, oh, I forgot. I didn't know this. I didn't know this. And then how they made a dark character out of that star. That star character.
Yeah.
Like that's a real character, but they don't really talk, or they do talk, but like they don't have voices in Mario. They're in Mario Galaxy, but they don't have voices. I don't think, or maybe they do. I don't remember them being distinctive enough to have a voice. But the fact that and it was a little kid, like they made it a little kid's voice. That was so good, saying the darkest shit. Like they're gonna the time to die, and like they're lowering them all, and then she's like, or he's like, yay.
You know what I just realized? There wasn't a Yoshi, was there?
They showed Yoshi. They showed Yoshi
at the end of it, or
they showed Yoshi like in the middle somewhere, or like in the beginning when he first gets to that world, like a bunch of Yoshis running, and then one of them stops and looks.
Herd. Yeah,
the herd. Yeah. And then one of them stops and looks, and it looks like it's Yoshi. Like he's like if they're previewing him or foreshadowing.
They gotta
him.
have a Yoshi eventually. I love Yoshi's.
Yeah, and then even then, like, is Yoshi gonna talk? Maybe that was too much for them to do at that time. Like, well, is Yoshi gonna talk? Because Toad talked, and Toad talked in the game, but they made Toad like a different, like a completely. They made the backpack character, the treasure tracker character.
It's Captain Toad. I love I love that. I love those. I don't know why they don't make more of those games. I love those little.
Dude,
puzzles.
That was a really good game. Oh yeah.
But Yoshi's on and off because he's talked in Super Mario 64, but only if you had to like collect all the stars to talk to him. But he did talk. But in other games, I don't think he did talk.
Right.
Like in Super Smash Brothers, he says like Yahoo and stuff. But
he just makes those little noises. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So it's like, and then and I sing. What I sing, I play this Yoshi game. I sing this song. No, I play this. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called Yoshi's World. I don't know. It's this game I used to play all the time on Nintendo 64. It just dropped on the Nintendo 64 game. On the Switch. Like the games on Nintendo. The Nintendo 64 catalog of games. That it's on there, and we play it with my son. But in that game, it's like about a bunch of Yoshis. Like different Yoshi colors, Story, and you're playing like Yoshi Story. That's what it's called.
Yoshi Story. Yeah.
But in that game, they sing songs, but like you don't understand what they're saying. But they're like making noises and like singing in little tones, where it's like okay, like it's like rhythms and shit. But I don't know if they're even saying anything. You know what I mean?
Have you ever played? This is why I like Nintendo because they do these different things. But Yoshi's Woolly World.
I played a demo of that. I never got into it though. I never played it.
I don't know if it was a creator, but someone's wife is into knitting, and she, as a gift to the husband, made a Yoshi, and that's what made the guy think I'm going to make a game based on just a Yoshi that's in a world just of wool. So you have all Shy Guys are made of wool. It was such a creative idea, and it was fun. But that's how like some of these things start, and it's like So I like Nintendo because they don't really compete with Sony and Xbox. They're like, we're going to do our own thing. And sometimes it's a flop, like the Wii U and stuff. Some of that stuff is like, okay, that's weird. But that's what led them to make the Switch. And now like the Switch is awesome. And it's so unique that it's not like your Xbox or PlayStation. It's like, well, if you want a Nintendo, you get a Nintendo. There's no other like alternative. It's like, you want it, that's what you're going to get.
Right.
If you have kids, especially. But I was telling you about the new Super Mario Wonder, and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Because you're in a level with 3 other people, and you're just like helping each other out, like in their own levels, and it's just fun. It's like, I don't know. They have these good ideas.
I really didn't understand it when you're trying to explain it to me the first time, but I've since seen more videos. So you're saying that so like you're playing a level by yourself, but you're seeing ghosts of other characters.
Yeah.
So you're kind of seeing like where the hidden stuff is because someone like they're up here in this weird area. It's like, oh, so there must be something there, and you go there and you find something. You know what I mean? That's what it's about.
Yeah. So I'll put it in a thing of like, so if let's say we were playing, it would be like you have your own separate level and I have my own separate level, but in the background I see you doing like jumping around or something. It's just as like a ghost or like a shade of like Mario or something. And if I see like, let's say I see you get hit and you're small. And if I just have a spare, you can have one spare item. So if I have a spare item, I could drop it into your world so you can just go and grab it. And then I get like points for like helping you. And then it's that kind of stuff. And there are some levels that are literally meant to just be a search party. So like, because there's an example of where I was in a game with 3 other people, and there's like a hidden block somewhere, right? So you find this hidden block, and then once you find it, you're like, oh, cool. So you could put a little checkpoint down for other people to see, and then they know, oh, I could jump there too. So everyone's helping each other find these hidden things.
Bro.
And there's no talking. It's just all just motions. So like you have someone who's just jumping up and down. You're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go over here and jump where he's jumping just to see what this is about. So it's just fun to.
That's literally what you're explaining is like a kid's version of Death Stranding. You ever played Death Stranding?
I have not.
I was talking to someone about it, dude. That's literally the same thing. You help each other out with like you're in a world and there's rivers and shit, and there's like a ladder. You can build a ladder, and like you have resources and you build like ladders and like ropes, and you climb up to this rock and you use the rope to get down to it. And like you can like give people likes. Is it the same thing? You give people likes?
Yeah, yeah, you get points. So like if you take an item that I give you, it'll give me like points, and you could just I don't know what it's for, but it's kind of you just collect them.
So the like you've seen the PlayStation controller, right? You know how like that there's like that thing in the middle, like an extra piece, like a big button.
Yeah, yeah.
So like whenever you're using someone like let's say me and you're playing Death Stranding, but it's like you're not playing together. You're alone in this world, but you see things that people leave behind, and you see their username. So I'll see your username by your ladder that you set up, and you can go and you can see how many likes you have, and like I can like, and it's like TikTok. You ever seen TikTok where people hit the the heart and like
I guess it's a light, yeah,
like multiple
heart,
hearts, and you see all these hearts on the screen. So it's like that.
Yeah.
So you're on the ladder and you can like it a certain amount of time. So like let's say like it's a really cool thing, and you go and everyone's just hitting the button like, and you can only like for like 5 seconds, and then it stops like. So you can give as much or as little likes as you want, but like some people have like cool. Thousands and thousands of likes, like just people like who are setting up, like people will just go like that's what they want to play, is go and help people. So they make like use this route to get to like you have to certain levels where you get to this place, but there's bad guys. So you're like, okay, there's bad guys over here, and then you can even put signs up for people so that they know this way there's bad guys. So like, don't go. It's this kind of
like Dark Souls has that. So you'll go up to but you'll have little messages written on the ground, so you could like see what other people say.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
So sometimes they'll troll you and I try to get you killed, but sometimes they'll be like, yeah, this boss up ahead, do this to avoid or do So yeah, it's like you're in your own world, but you could drop notes to help other people too.
That's cool. I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that. That game is hard as fuck. I gave up. Beginning, I gave up. I was barely in.
I didn't even bother playing. I'm like, I know it's. I don't want to put in the. I do like. Because Fallen Order was kind of like that Star Wars, the Jedi Fallen Order. It's pretty much a Dark Souls, but with Star Wars. So it's kind of fun you have a boss that's hard, you learn the mechanics, and then you beat him with the mechanics. So it's kind of fun to do that, but I get kind of burnt out on it. I'm like, all right, I don't want to keep doing that. But it's fun though. I can see why it's fun.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah, but Mario Wonder. Gotta check that out. I just don't know when I'm going to do it. I gotta check it out. So Montgomery Brawl. Did you see the video?
I saw like the 3 videos. Dude, that was I hate people who the guy is just he works on the dock. I don't know what this is all about, but something about moving the boat. And first of all, I'm getting ahead of myself. I hate when people fight, first of all, and you see the guy go just run up behind him and start hitting him. But I will say I loved how the dock worker, did you see how he flicks his hat off? He's like, this is it. Like this is where we go. I'm like, dude, that is such a badass move that he did.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, this is it.
Okay.
He just starts going.
Yep.
And then one of the videos, they show the guy swimming in to try to help him out. I'm like, dude, that is awesome.
Dude, yeah, it was a crazy ass. That was and then like it was just all bad, dude. All bad.
Those guys piss me. I just hate. Those are just reasons I'm like, I just hate being around people because I don't like most people, and then I see things like that. I'm like, this just reinforces my like decision to just like not liking.
Well, I don't know if that first guy was drunk or what, but yeah, he shouldn't have swung. Like he swung on he started swinging on that guy, on the security guard. Well, so that's what started everything, and then it turned into a race war because all the black people on the boat were like, "Hey, they're beating up this black." They thought it was a race thing. These white guys are beating up this black guy, so they're like, "Fuck it, jump in."
Well, you had another white guy try to pull the other guy off. I think he probably was drunk, and then he started swinging at the other guy. But I'm just like, dude, I think one of the things said 4 of them were arrested. So I mean, that's good because there was 4 that needed to get arrested. But geez, dude, it's like the guy's doing his job. I don't care what it is. Like, you don't do that. I'm glad that happened because they got outnumbered pretty quick. I'm like, good, dude. That's freaking.
Yeah. And think about that too. Like, think about that. Like, if you're going to start a fight, like, how's it going to end? I mean, you gotta think of all the options. You gotta think of all the possibilities if you plan on starting a fight. Because most people start fights obviously for their ego, thinking that they're gonna win. But it's like, dude, you can get knocked out right now. Like, just you can get knocked out right now. And then how is this gonna affect your life from here on out? You know, it's gonna fuck up your ego, or you're gonna be hurt really bad. Like, either way, you're gonna be fucked up for a while.
People who know how to fight, which doesn't include me, but I'm just saying people who know how to fight know that you don't get into street fights. It is so easy to accidentally kill someone. One good hit, they're out. They hit their head on the curb. They're dead. Right. You're in jail.
Right.
It's like you do not get into now for protection, sure, but you do not like start these street fights.
Yes.
It's so easy to just not accidentally, but just to pop someone with one good hit and they're out. And it's like, is it really worth it? I mean,
I think a lot of times people just don't care, and that's scary too, because you don't want to be around people like that.
No, and that's why I really don't like being like in the like downtown areas, club areas, especially late at night. It's just like something bad's going to happen to someone, whether it's you or someone you're with. That's just another factor in. But pretty much I haven't gone out that much. Or there was a couple years where I would go out every now and then, and pretty much every time there was a fight in one of the clubs somewhere. And it's like I hate being around that, because you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's fucking crazy, dude. Anyways, crazy lady on the plane.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the fuck off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the fuck off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two fucks, but I am telling you right now, that motherfucker back there is not real.
What do you think?
Well, I actually didn't know what all happened afterwards until I saw the videos you sent. So after seeing all of it, she just admits there's no one there. So I'm like, maybe she did it for views, maybe she did it for popularity, because it worked if that's the case.
I did not see anything.
What?
But she straight up said, I just said it and no one was there. So I'm like, she's admitting that she said it to no one, and she said it was her free speech or something. I'm like, that's kind of weird to say. So I guess you're just admitting that it was just a publicity stunt, but it worked. So did you
go ahead?
Did you see? Well, you saw because you sent it to me. But all those people saying like, "Man, I'm going off the plane. I've seen Final Destination too many times to know that I'm not staying on the plane." Okay, yeah. Real question though: if you're in the plane and you see someone do that, are you getting off the plane?
Depends on what's going on, because a lot of times it's like, obviously that was a situation that everything was fine, but she was just hallucinating, or I feel like there's something they're not telling us. And because there's other videos that she's done after that where like she doesn't look normal, but she's talking, I'm fine, everything's fine. But it's like someone has a gun to her head. There's other videos where there's one where she's talking to her, like it's like her posting a video in her house or maybe somewhere, but she's like talking to a laptop or a phone, and it's like a pre-recorded message, and she sends it out on her social media, and it goes viral because this is the crazy lady on the plane, right? And there's experts, maybe people who think they're experts, analyzing the video, saying that someone else is in the room with her, conspiracies basically. She's a robot, or she's being under mind control now. Like they're spinning the story, trying to spin the story, right? There's a lot of things mixed up with this situation. There's other videos too where right after the crazy lady on the plane, like right around that time, there was a guy with tattoos all over his face who was talking about he was the guy that scared her, and he's telling the story about what happened, how he has a Freemason brand sweater on, and she was talking about how she doesn't like Freemasons, she's a Christian, and he's like rubbing it in her face, and he pretended to be, she's like, you're part of the devil, and he's like, yes I am, and like it turned into a whole, like he was messing with her, and she freaked out and got up and ran to the front of the plane. And that's where you see the video of her saying that motherfucker back there is not real. But turned out that guy was fake. he did this whole story on his Instagram or whatever, and he was making it up. It wasn't, and then it turned out it was another guy, and they interviewed that guy, and it was just like, who's telling the truth? What's going on here? Is it all just her in her head? Who cares? Why do we care about this? You know what I mean? It's like all these things going on where it's like, are they distracting us from the real cause? Like, what's going on here? Why is this news? Why are we talking about this? It's a lot of things to unpack with this certain subject here. And especially like they're paying her to go on a podcast and talk about it just to say that she was lying. Like, really? Like, you know what I mean?
No, our standard for what's interesting is pretty low now, and
right.
and I include myself in that. I'm not saying I'm above it, but I'm just like, I look at this stuff and I'm like, well, chances are she did it to get noticed and it worked. And then these guys who are coming out, chances are it's very easy to say, what if I say I'm the guy? And even if it's even if I get 5 minutes of fame from it, what if it's that easy? And you go on there and it's that easy.
It's a crazy reason to do that. Crazy reason to do that.
But everyone's
called clout. Clout chasers.
Everyone's trying to get famous, even if it's for 5 minutes, even if it's hurting other people, even if it's causing a conspiracy. They want there's just a weird change that happened where when I was a kid, you wanted to be, I guess you also wanted to get rich and famous, but you wanted to be for like acting or playing football or you wanted to get rich and famous for doing something. But nowadays kids are like, I just want to be on YouTube. And I watch people on YouTube, so I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like there's plenty of channels I like to watch, but it's just like, it's like trying to, I don't know. It's just weird. It's like saying you want to be in the NBA. Like, yeah, there's a 0.05% chance you can do it, but you have to realize that chances are you're not going to do it. But I don't know. I don't know. The internet is the best and worst thing ever. Yep.
They're clout chasers. Everyone's a fucking clout chaser now. That's what that is. Clout chasers.
Why do you think I'm here?
Right. No. No, and honestly, that's something that I'm worried about now. Is I'm trying to expand the podcast, but that's something else that I don't want to be a clout chaser, and I don't need the clout. You know what I mean? I enjoy doing this. I learn it from every episode. I learn how to light. I learn how to edit. I'm learning how to do things that I normally wouldn't do if I was just sitting at home playing video games or just not, because this is something I've always wanted to do, was edit and know how everything works and audio. And I'm still like, I try to do a pod, like I'm failing. I'm learning from my failures. You know what I mean? Like the other day, how I try to make a tradition of doing a Halloween episode with my wife every year, and I tried to follow tradition, but this time I decided to bring her brother in, and he sat. So it was a 3 mic setup. So it was a little bit. I bought this like board, like the soundboard, but for some reason, every time everything would hook up to my laptop, it would crash. My laptop would crash every time I started. So I was like, all right. So I finally found a way around it, and I recorded. And it turns out it did not record the audio. So I shot this whole podcast. We went to this whole thing, and now it's like I have so many podcasts where it's just horrible, and you know what I mean. Like so many scrap podcasts. I've done podcasts with people. I did one with one guy. After it was done, he's like, I don't want it. I don't want you to post this. I'm like, okay. So I have like podcasts that no one's ever seen. They don't want it out. You know what I mean? It's like crazy, dude. Like crazy. And it's fine. I get it, but it's just part of the process. Like I have to be ready for that. I have to be ready for all these situations. So I don't want to disappoint anybody. I don't want to put something out that someone's not going to want to hear. But that's my whole thing with this podcast. My point is, like, I'm not trying to be famous. I'm not trying to, like, people tell me all the time, like, you got to be out there. You got to push it. It's like, I don't need to. I'm learning from it still. Like maybe one day that's a whole other aspect of the social media game. Like that's something I'm not really interested in, but I guess if I want to push my podcast, I have to do it. So I got to learn that,
Yeah.
Like how to be like, on Instagram and on, out there. And it's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll have to do it. TikTok and all this shit.
Yeah. And that's pretty much where I'm just like, yeah, whenever you need someone, I'm just like, yeah, I'm here. It helped me a lot because when you first brought it up, I was like, dude, I literally have nothing to talk about. Like, I don't know what we're gonna do, but I'm like, hey, I could fill a couple hours pretty easily, So like, oh, all right, maybe I have some things to talk about that I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's been nice.
Yeah. And so that's another thing I was thinking about with you. Thank you. I appreciate you with that, with being there, always being there. But I have one that I still haven't put out yet with you. And it's like, fuck, dude, like, I just thought about that right now. Like, I have so many backlogged like the one all we're talking about is food. That one's not out yet. And that was like June.
At least with ours, I don't think we have to edit too. I don't think you have to edit too much. I think there was like one or two things where I was like, maybe just take that part out. But for the most part, I think we're all good.
Yeah, and that's easy. It's easy there. But like the last one I did was, and the last one I posted. Oh man, like I was falling asleep. I was actually, I drank a lot of beer and I smoked a little bit before I did it, and it was mixed with like, and that was the Bashi one. So Bashi, it took him an hour to get on. Like it took him an hour. like after we like, okay, 10 o'clock guy, and then it took him an hour, and then we did 2-3 hours. So it was like 2 a.m. when we were done.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, at the end of it, I'm like, bye Bashi, I'll see you later, man. I'll see you later. Like my eyes were like, I was talking to him, but my eyes were shut. Like I was like, out. I checked out. And everyone's like, dude, you got fucked up. Like, nah, bro. Actually, I was tired. I was fucking tired, bro. Like, people really came up to me and told me that, like, hey, bro, it was Darren. He was like, or sorry, Mr. Hill. He was like, you were faded on that podcast. I'm like, dude, I was actually hella tired because Bashi took his fucking time.
No, this is the perfect time for me because it's like, okay, great. I'm not gonna do once like 9 hits. I'm like passing out. Right. And that's fine. I get it. But it was just like, dude, we had a lot of good conversation. Like Bashi's a great guy. Like he could talk and he has so much energy. Like it was crazy. Like to see like the beginning, I was like, and at the end I was like, and he the whole time was just like, and then he ended the episode with like, yeah, baby, we're gonna get it. I was like, yeah. When I was editing it, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm so glad he's so high energy all the time. Like at 2 a.m, he's like, Bashi is the one person because I don't play fantasy football too well, but he doesn't set his lineup most of the time, and he still beats me every time, and it gets me so upset because I'll be like sweating over here trying to get the best team, and he like has 2 people out, and I'm like, he manages to beat me almost every time. Really? Like, yeah, and he knows this, so he's gonna listen to this, and he knows this. He's probably really good at lottery, huh? No, we have a rivalry. I tell him like I don't care about other teams. I'm just trying to beat you. That's my Super Bowl. That's my Super Bowl. But no, he's beaten me already once this year, so I got one more chance to beat him this year. But we'll see. Jeez. Yeah. Jeez. That Bashi, man. Yeah, that Bashi. I see we do one more. I'm gonna have to get out of here soon. Yeah, it works for me. You pick it. You want to talk about the Will Smith? Sure. Yeah. Or which one? I don't know. I feel I gotta say I feel bad for Will Smith, dude. Like Pinkett Smith is like I don't know everything involved, but I do think she's like it feels like she toys with them so much because she'll be like in these interviews saying like, yeah, I like other men more, and Will's kind of there, and Will's over here going like, man, I love her so much. I'm like, dude, like you gotta. And then you have his best friend coming out and saying these things where I don't know how much you want to say of what was said, but it's like, man, your friend's coming at you now. Like this poor guy, he just can't get a W here. Well, I think it's just for years, man. I don't know if you've heard it, but for years there's been rumors that Will Smith is gay for fucking years. So it's not a surprise to me, but basically we're talking about this one of Will Smith's assistants, his friend, right? It was an assistant, I believe. They say it's his best friend, but I don't know if it was his best friend, but they say it's his best friend. I thought it was his assistant turned friend, but they're friendly. But he used to work for Will Smith. That's why there was a story he told on something. I think it was a podcast where he, this ex-assistant, this ex-friend or whatever, it sounds like an ex-friend now, talked about the time he walked in on Will Smith and another actor.
All right, I open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal sex with Will. Will was bent over on the couch and Dwayne was standing up, killing him. Murder. It was murder in there.
Dwayne Martin.
I'm gonna look up who that is.
He's
Dwayne
in a lot
Martin.
of stuff. He's in a lot of movies. Shoot, I see him
Oh,
right now. Yeah, he's like a
wait. Dwayne Martin isn't he? What's it? Fresh Prince. What's his name? What's his character's name?
in Fresh Prince? No, he's not in Fresh Prince. Oh, he's in Scream 2. That's where I remember him from. He was in Woo with Jada Pinkett Smith. That's crazy. He's in the new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Anyways, Dwayne Martin. He's been in things since the 90s. I've seen him in stuff. He was in Woo. That was where I know him from. Any Given Sunday. He's in Will Smith music videos. That's crazy. Yeah, he's in a lot of movies.
Okay.
He was in Fresh Prince, the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Anyways, there was a talks of him the assistant walking in on this Dwayne Martin guy having sex with Will Smith on a couch, against the couch. And I mean, I'm not surprised. My only thing is like, why? My real question is, why is this guy coming out and saying it now?
That's the thing. Like I treat it as, whether it's true or not, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't think it matters probably to anyone. I mean, Will Smith is always going to be like Will Smith, but I'm just thinking, like, to have your friend, I don't know. Maybe he wasn't his friend, but sure, all the articles say it was his friend. But I just heard it randomly on a podcast, I think this morning. It was just I was kind of like, what? Where did this come from all of a sudden? But I think that's such a weird thing, because I when I read biographies, it's just like, when you get so big, you just can't trust anyone. And you have these friends who are friends up until a point, and then they think, man, if I whether it's rumor or not, whether it's whatever, but if I just spill this secret, whether it's true or not, I could get pretty big. Because this friend or whoever, I don't think anyone's probably knew who he was, or maybe very vaguely, but now everyone's Googling him, like, oh, who is this guy? So I don't know.
I think he got paid out. That's what it was about. I probably needed money, and he just, fuck it. This guy, like, he went to someone. I got a story about Will Smith.
You're right. You're probably right. You're probably right.
He probably needed some money. Low on something, or hard times, or I don't know. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but who knows what his story is, or who knows? Maybe he had a thing with Will Smith where he's jealous now, and he was the man. I don't know, but my whole thing was, like, maybe he's like trying to blackmail Will Smith, like, we were lovers, I'm gonna just expose you for cheating on me or something,
Yeah.
But that's been something for years, and I think that's why Jada Pinkett Smith is so fucking bored, because she knows he's gay, and that's why they had this open relationship where it was like I know you're gay, dude, just let me like go out and like have sex with dudes, like let me have fun, like, I'm tired of your gay ass, you know what I mean, or whatever. But
so you think it's on Will then, in that relationship?
I do think that, because we all know from the beginning, it seemed like an arranged marriage, because it was always rumors for years that Will Smith has been gay. Like, it's been rumors for years.
So I'm gonna just claim ignorance. I had zero idea up until now that
really
it was like, I had no idea.
Well, there were rumors, and then what happened was, you remember when years ago, like maybe almost 10 years now, when Jada Pinkett Smith was like, she was seeing some guy. It was one of her son's friends.
Yeah, I remember that.
So supposedly that guy was fucking Will Smith as well. So it was like they were all fucking him.
Okay, you know what? You mentioned that was that last year or 2 years?
This was ago? like 2016, 2015. This was a while ago when that happened. This was like years ago.
I remember hearing about that, but I heard about semi recently, not that long ago.
No, so there was it came out like that they were, and that's where it started. Like, they were separated. That's why it was okay for her to do that, because she was separated from Will Smith, and she was fucking this young kid, like he was like in his 20s, and it was her son's friend. But this guy was like, and I'll send you videos of this guy. This guy's on a reality show, bro, and he ended up coming out like as gay. Like he fucks dudes and girls, like he fucks them both. So that's another thing where it's like there were rumors that they were both fucking him. This kid. Will Smith was having his turn, and then Jada Pinkett was having her turn, which is fucking weird. Like if your husband and wife are fucking the same guy, that's fucking weird, bro. Like that's like some Hollywood celebrity. Like I have it all. I'm bored. I have all this money and I'm bored shit. Like, like I don't know what the fuck's going on there.
Dude, I'm in the middle of reading Travis Barker's book.
Uh-huh.
Dude, these parties that they write about, I'm like, I just feel like I didn't know this stuff. I mean, I figured stuff like this happens, but it's like, dude, this is a whole other world. Like it's a lot. I'm like reading it. I'm like, what? Like, what's going on in these parties?
I'm gonna have to read that book. That's cool.
Yeah, there's things I won't bother saying on here, but yeah, it's just the things I read. I'm like, this stuff really happens like in real life, but when you're big, rock stars and stuff, as people do, I can't imagine like the old school rockers like Ozzy and stuff, like how much stuff and then there's rumors that he would like snort ants. I'm like, maybe that's true. I think it probably is. I mean, he bit a head off a bat. I mean, these guys are probably on so much drugs all the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, you live. I was gonna say live fast, die young, but some of these guys live a long time and they live fast, so they made it work. So they're still touring. They're like, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne, bro, dude, I cannot understand a word he says until he sings. When he's singing, he's like, I understand everything he's saying, but when he's just talking, I don't know what the fuck he's saying.
Was the Osbournes one of the first reality shows?
It was.
That's the first one I watched.
It was one of the first reality shows. I think, or you know what, to be like a first like family sit down reality. But before that, what you could consider a reality show was Real World. That was before that. That was way before. Real World was a reality show, and Road Rules. That was a road where they drove around in Winnebago. It was the same thing as Real World, but they had to go like drive around and do missions. And
I didn't see those.
But you're aware of Real World, right?
Vaguely.
So that's like a show on MTV that was like in the 96, 95, where like they would just put like strangers in a house in a random, like the first season was San Francisco. They did San Diego twice, which is cool. If you ever watch those, oh man, they're really good because you recognize all the places. It's like, that's so dope. It's fucked up because they pick people from around the country, usually Americans. Very, very rarely go out of the country. But this on this one season of Real World in San Diego, one of the girls lives in Chula Vista. They just like how bad, like they pulled a girl from Chula Vista, bro. So she could go home if she wanted to every day. But other people were like from like around the like one guy was from Kentucky, and then like they would pick people on purpose to like they picked like a gay guy and a black guy and a white guy who's never seen a gay guy and a black guy. Like they pick people that, like on purpose, where it's like, and then the first interview there in the house, like the first interview, the one guy, the black guy is like, yeah, I don't know about this gay guy, right?
No, they
off the bat,
they know what they're doing. They'll instigate. Yeah. I watch some of these shows because I like to watch drama, not be involved in it. So some of these I like to watch, but I'm like, dude, I would be the most boring contestant because I get along with everyone. I'd be like, hey,
dude, I don't know about that. I think you think that, but no, I don't. I think there'd be something like if you saw. I feel like this is just an example of me knowing you for this short time, but I feel like if you saw this white guy bullying this gay guy, you would have to say something.
Oh, there's bullying. Okay, that's
and you would, and that's where the conflict would come in with you, where it'd be like, hey man, leave me alone. You're like, nah, bro, don't do that.
I'd probably get kept until the mid season because up until then they'd be like, he's harmless, but then they'd be like, just get rid of him. So I think I'd last to like middle.
No, dude, I really do think you'd find your shtick if you were in that situation. You would find where you were, like, because I think you don't know that, but you would find your where you would fit in the drama. Like you'd fit in somewhere, but you just don't know it yet until you get in that situation.
Yeah, I probably will never. Chances are I'll never be in that situation, so that's fine with me.
And that's fine with me too. Yeah. I don't need to know that life. But yeah, anyways, Real World going off. But no, Osbourne's was definitely the first like famous people. Like watching like the Kardashians now do it. I remember Jessica Simpson had a show. Britney Spears had a show. Like everyone has a show, had a
Travis Barker had a show. I didn't even know
Travis
they had
Barker had a show.
Meet the Barkers. I'm like, I didn't even know he had a show.
Yes, that was a good show. And that was right around that time. He was like probably like right after Ozzy Osbourne. Like if not second or third reality show.
Was early.
Yeah.
No, it's just interesting how you find out how these people meet. Like how he was talking about how he was with Paris for a little bit. Then he ended up, but that's how he met Kim Kardashian was Paris Hilton's like closet girl. So like she like get all her stuff in the closet, get wherever Paris travels, she'd come with her to organize all her stuff. I'm like, oh, so that's how all these people kind of had to start.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. It's interesting to see how all these people like meet kind of. I'm sure if like you followed paparazzi, you probably knew all this, but I have no idea about all this stuff. I read, I'm like, oh, they met, they were a thing, and that's how she came. So, oh, this is all interesting. But it's interesting though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man, dude, I could talk with you for hours.
Yeah,
I really could.
Yeah.
Like, so the fact that you mentioned that you at one point did not think you could hang, dude, you can hang. We can hang. But I got to go now. I appreciate your time. I appreciate everything that you've contributed to this podcast, and I appreciate you being available.
Oh yeah.
Unlike some people,
they have stuff going on. I'm like, man, I have nothing going on most of the time. So
I get it. I'm joking. I get it. But
yeah.
But I appreciate you, and we got to do this again. We're gonna do this again. I mean, as long as we have air in our bodies, we're gonna be doing this.
We only got to like 2 bullet points. So yeah, if we get all 4 of us, we'll be.
I think we should touch it better. I think it's cool how we went off on like Marvel, because I actually been wanting to talk to someone about that for a while. But supposedly the end of Loki season 2 is really good. So like I've heard a lot of people praise it. So we'll see. I'm gonna jump into it probably soon. Season 2.
Well, I'm telling you, Squid Game's my next one. So I'm
have fun. That. Yeah, and I was gonna say that have fun watching your Squid Games after this.
I'm ready.
Dude, thank you so much for this. Have a great holiday. Take care of yourself, and hopefully you have a good day tomorrow, and I'll see you soon.
All right, I'll see you later.
All right,
good night.
You too. Peace out.